Guys, we live in the coastal plains of South Texas, and the ground out here is pretty flat. I would say flatter than my backside. Yeah. I mean, so we don't have boulders and mountains to climb on, so we have to manufacture our own, as you can see. I'm not sure that JJ is too happy about us climbing our decorative rock around our backyard, but that's what we're doing at the moment, because we got a new thing in. We got the Apex Performance sway bar disconnects. We're going to add them on here. Why do we need them? We absolutely don't. I don't think, not yet. But we got them because they're cool. And some Jeep people just put stuff on their Jeep because they think they're cool. And I'm definitely one of them. All right, in the box, let's see what we got. We got some nuts and washers, a set of instructions. Looks like 2 instructions and common mistakes. So we will definitely check out the common mistake list.
I do and I don't.
We have 2 Apex sway bar disconnects. These look fantastic, guys. They're kind of a gray. Got a turn knob on top.
Okay, so first of all, I want to just say this. First off, I did not know I was going to be driving this Jeep up onto this rock that we just put in for landscaping.
Looks good.
Yeah, well, my husband just says, hey, go grab the keys, get in the Jeep, and drive. So I do. He puts a ramp down. I'm thinking we're just gonna, you know, pull up onto the ramp. But then he has me keep going. And I don't know if it's a good thing or not that I am just so trustworthy.
It worked.
Okay, that was a first. And I don't know that I liked that first. That was a little intense, I ain't gonna lie. But this is the story of my life.
On the sway bar disconnects, they come in 2 different styles. They have the 10-inch stroke and the 8-inch. We went with the 8-inch because we don't have a very tall lift. We just have a 2-inch lift on our Jeep. But for anything, I think from 2.5 to 3 inches above, they recommend the 10-inch stroke on this.
So what is the purpose of that?
Well, the purpose of a sway bar disconnect is to allow the axle more flexion as you rock climb. So here, let's get in here and look.
As we rock climb. Tell me this is going to be our one and only time that we actually rock climb in our backyard.
Right here.
The little, oh,
yeah,
okay.
This is the sway bar, and this is our sway bar linkage. And so we're going to add this right here so that it'll allow this to flex up and down as we need it to. So right now it's very tight. See, it's connected here and here. Mm-hmm. There's no flex. So it'll only give what that'll allow, and that's very little. Mm-hmm. So eventually, if we kept going higher, that tire right there would come off the ground, and you don't want that. We lose traction at that point. Mm-hmm. So we have one on each side.
So kind of adjust in different heights on different sides as needed.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So before we start, let's take a look at the Jeep, how it looks here on the rock. We notice we have a good amount of clearance here. We're rocking 35 on 20-inch rims there.
So let me guess. After we install this, we have to do this again?
Oh, yeah, we're going to do it again.
Oh, Lord. Okay, going down was so much easier than going up, let me tell you.
To get this out of here, which was right here, the top link part of it, I pulled the sway bar down to give me easier access back here. This is a 21-inch socket, millimeter socket, and this is a 19-millimeter socket for the bottom. I was able to take both bolts off left and right, leaving the vehicle on the ground, just turning the tire all the way into the open position. That way you can have more room to work on each side.
What is he doing?
I have no idea. I'm trying to figure out how to read.
But he's doing it. I'm proud of you, babe.
Thank you. After you take your factory sway bar links off, measure from center of hole to center of hole. And that'll give you the distance that you need to set your new Apex. When you get your Apex, it's going to have different measurements right here written on here. It's like 6.5, 7.2. Just get as close as you can. For mine, I'm all the way down here on the bottom. I only had 5.5, so I'm gonna be sitting at a 6.5. But what you do is they have snap rings. I don't know if you can see them. there's snap rings right here. You move the snap ring on the bottom side. So this would be the top here, and this would be the bottom. So on the bottom side, you're going to move it down to your desired height first. Once you get that ring down to your desired height, this will allow this to slide all the way down. There is a kind of a push into lock into place. You'll hear it. Then unscrew this guy. This is your set nut. We'll unscrew it, and we're going to add some thread lock to it. They do supply it in the bag. So just add generous amount of thread lock to it, and then let's screw it back in. We're going to end up tightening it to 20 pounds-foot per square inch on this guy, on the torque wrench. But for right now, we're just going to leave it loose. Then we're going to take this top ring, and we're going to work it down here to the bottom. I don't have a ring tool, so I'm actually using my fingernails. It can be done. I mean, if you have a tool, it's probably easier. I would do that. Once you get your ring slid down to the desired height on the top, you'll notice it has some slack in it. That slack we're going to take out with this top nut. You'll just screw it out to the point where you'll feel it get snug. We're not going to tighten it all the way right now, just because we still got to put it on, and once it locks in, it's going to keep this from spinning. Hey, real quick before we get underneath the truck, it has a tamper-proof piece here. There's some silicone or something in there. Do not remove that. It says it voids the warranty. Don't be silly like I did. I tried to pick it out because I thought this is where my Allen key went. It actually goes right here on this side. So you'll put an Allen key in here with your nut here, and you'll have to hold an Allen wrench while you screw your nut on. It is a pain in the butthole. But I mean, you may have a ratcheting wrench. I didn't have one, so it took me a minute on the first one. Let's go get this one on though. I'm going to put the one that connects to my sway bar first. It slides in like this. Make sure your logos are pointed out towards your tire so everyone can see what you have, even if you don't use them like me. But slide it on. You're going to have for 2024 and up, they give you a washer, little collar to take up some of the gap. So that's going to, it slides in first, then your washer, then that little ring, and then you'll put your locking washer on with your nut. When you do put this washer on, this is your locking washer. It has a cone kind of shape to it. The cone shape goes towards the apex. This side will go towards your nut, and it has little serrations on it. The Allen key that you're going to need is a 6mm to go inside this. Okay, we got them installed now, and man, it looks pretty good. It's flexing pretty nice. You can see here our clearance here has definitely changed. It's no longer really rigid. I mean, we had probably a whole hand. Now I have maybe 2 fingers there underneath. Got plenty of clearance here left, you can see, before we bump anything. It did make recommendations to maybe trim this, but it looks like maybe I might not have to. Let's look at the other side. So on the ground side, you can definitely see it's flexed out there. See where the rod is extended? Looks pretty good. Once again, I'm not having to trim anything there. I'll keep watching that to see if that changes, but anyway, to lock it back, all we gotta do is back it up, turn those switches. There's a switch right here to unlock and lock it into its position. It's currently in the unlocked position. That's what's allowing it to flex back and forth. It's an 8-inch stroke. So when we get back to within 4 inches of each other, it doesn't have to be on level ground, but within 4 inches, we can turn those knobs, and as we drive, it'll lock itself back into position. Okay, to lock it back into position, just go to the knob, give it a turn. That's simple. Now we're locked back in. Well guys, overall the project didn't take very long, maybe 30-40 minutes. The main part of the delay in me installing the project was that top screw where you got to have the Allen key in. If I had the right wrenches, I think I could have knocked that time down about 10 more minutes. So maybe a 30-minute project total. But man, it's a pretty neat install. I may never use them where I live, but just in case, I got them on, and they're a cool addition. So what we do need here in the South is we have what we call slicker than duck poop dirt, and so when it rains out here, you can find yourself slipping and falling. So mud tires are a necessity in our part, but as far as anything to climb mountains, man, we'll make a mountain out of a molehill out here. So but that's about it. Man, you guys have a great day, and thanks for tuning in. Guys, we live in the okay. We live in
Wait, I don't know that my mic is. Yeah, it is. Okay.
Okay.